Welcome back to Tiny T Gaming. This is another video on my thoughts of the future of Warhammer 40,000 video games. Now, as you can see in the background, it's just me killing it on Space Marine 2 in Annihilation mode. I did have quite a good game here, but I think a lot of what I spoke about in my last video regarding Warhammer 40,000 was about what I would like to see, and then speaking about the success of Space Marine 2 now. Obviously Space Marine 2 has done really well. They've already announced Space Marine 3. I think that will be phenomenal when it does come out. Obviously that'll be like years from now. Space Marine 2 got delayed anyway, and then loads of other games get delayed as it is, or even the early access ones, they get released and then they're borderline unplayable, some of them, and then when they are in a playable state, it's like years from when it's been released. But I don't think that, being such a big name, any Warhammer 40,000 game will come out in early access, or it won't be anything like Space Marine 3. It'll be like a smaller game if they do release anything between now and whenever in early access, but it's not really the way they work. I don't think that's a bad thing. Sometimes it is just better for the release date to be delayed rather than have to get a game, pay the price for it, and then it's nothing like what you're expecting until they release loads of patches, loads of updates, or the full edition basically. So I do think that, following on from what I said in the last video about Warhammer 40,000 gaming, there will be, obviously Space Marine 3 has been announced, or confirmed I should say, and that'll be whenever it does come out. Now, they will be releasing, in my opinion, a Warhammer 40,000 Total War in the future. I have no idea when. I mean, if you watch channels like Chapter Master Valrak, he's spoken on it quite a lot. Really good channel. Really good information he has, or the rumours. I do think though that with games like that, it'll be easy for them to lose the core element of Warhammer 40,000 if they're not careful. I really want them to do a Total War that is Warhammer 40,000, but the idea of Warhammer and the miniature game inside is that it's army building and you have your own flair on it. So like I said in my last video on this sort of subject, when you have games that are like Bannerlord that prove that you can recruit soldiers individually, have them upgrade along certain lines, but in a manner you want, that shows that the concept does work. I mean, Bannerlord has had a huge following. Then games like Bellwright has had a good following, and then it's just a break from the norm of what Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer I should say, typically release. I mean, they've done the whole Warhammer 1, 2 and 3 with all the DLCs and add-ons with Total War, and then you've got stuff like Gladius, Battle Sector, and then the Dawn of War. I mean, apparently there'll be a Dawn of War 4. I mean, Dawn of War 3 was not the game everyone was hoping for, which was a real shame. They sort of like broke from what made Dawn of War 1 and 2 really good. I mean, Dawn of War 2 was so good online that was just really fun, and then unlocking new armour for certain troops as you promote through the ranks, it just put that flair to your online gaming, so that when you came up against someone, if all their soldiers had or the Space Marines or Imperial Guard, whatever, had really good armour, I mean, it's only an aesthetic thing, but it showed you're against someone who's really good. I think that with the future of 40k and the fact that they've released new models, with the Black Templars, we've got some more lore as well with regards to the era of Ruin, or it's Echoes of Ruin. I should know, I do have it on my Audible, but some sort of new lore. I mean, Chapter Master Varak's done a video on that already, but stuff like that where they are progressing the timeline ever so slowly. Like, there is things you can put into video games now, like Primarchs. Yes, they would be OP, but things like that where if you're doing like a top-down strategy game or a turn-based strategy game with real-time strategy, say Total War, You can have these sort of godlike characters or whatever on the battlefield. I do think though they need to really lean in heavily onto the actual army building, because that was something that was really enjoyable with Dawn of War. You could make your own Space Marines armor. I mean, you can do it on Space Marine 2. I'm not trying to say it was like unique. I'm just trying to say that like Space Marine 2 is a third-person shooter, and as much as you can customize your character, you're not customizing an army and choosing their layout, and you're not leading it. So it's really good as a third-person shooter, but what I'm speaking about is a complete different thing. I think they really need to lean into what they actually are, and then the whole army building and development of your army, that would be really good. So like I said in the last video, I think if they start leaning into that really well, they'll, in my opinion, they'll just do really well as a business. I mean, they're already doing really well. I mean, the net worth of Games Workshop or Warhammer is mad now, like over $5 billion or something ridiculous. But so they've definitely got the money to produce this stuff, but they really need to lean into it. So maybe with Total War, Warhammer 40,000, if you could, like I spoke about, if you could form your own like renegade Space Marine warband, so thinking along the lines of like the Night Lords, where they're not traitors, they are traitors, sorry, but they're not chaos, or not all chaos, but they don't get any of the buffs or the perks of being affiliated, and that could be like a really hard campaign or playthrough if you want, in like a sandbox style. That'd be really good. Or like a loyalist chapter, and being loyalist, you have the opportunity to fall to chaos, or you can fall to chaos simply because of the artifacts and the men you promote. That would be really interesting. I mean, if you look at Warhammer 40,000 lore, like Luft Huron, who would then become Huron Blackheart, really good Space Marine commander, but he lacked certain qualities that meant that he would eventually fall to chaos because of his personality and how he was driven. And then I think that'd be really good if you could lean into that, where you've just promoted a sergeant to captain, a Space Marine sergeant to veteran sergeant or lieutenant or captain or whatever, and then they don't have any compassion, empathy, or anything like that. So they're more likely to fall to chaos, or too proud, too boastful. That'd be really good. I would really like to see that. I mean, this will probably be in 10 years when I'm like in my 40s, and if you finally get the game that I actually want to play on PC in the Warhammer 40,000 setting, but that would be the gold standard. I think they will eventually bring out a Dawn of War 4 though, a Total War Warhammer 40,000. They'll continue to bring out certain smaller games like the Gladius, and then those sorts of games where it's like more of a grander strategy. But I think they do need to remember that as much as these third-person shooters and first-person games are really good, and they should have a line of them coming up, because who doesn't want to play as a Space Marine? They could definitely focus on the actual attributes of Space Marines more. So you start as a neophyte, you progress through, you earn your power armor. If you choose a bloodline that's got more mutations or genetic instability, you find it harder to recruit, but then you get certain perks of it. Like there's so much they can do, and I understand that within the franchise itself they've got a lot of risk. They have a lot of risk with gaming because they were a miniature company first, or they are before anything else. But that's just my ramblings, my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, whether you agree, disagree, and I will keep bringing out videos on gaming and just the future of gaming as I see it, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys.